fingers like this for the video as well.
Get this little fucking dog out of here.
He's in here now. You ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
1. Well, it's a long way down. It's a long way down. How are the words?
He says, I love the taste of the salt and the sugar on the tip of my tongue.
I love your salt and sugar on the tip of my tongue. And you have a theory for this.
Well, it's not a theory. I know it's about eating ass.
You co-wrote this.
Yeah. It's a
Makes
long
sense.
way down to where he wants to go. You think about down, down, down.
Yeah.
He loves the salt and sugar on the tip of his tongue.
That's admirable. And who doesn't like to eat a little ass every now and then?
Yeah, I guess.
As long as you're bathing, it's 5 or 6 times a day. Mm-hmm. Once a week. How about hippies? How about like the real deal? Actually, you wouldn't believe how many people I've run into very recently, and I guess for many years now, that aren't actual hippies that tell me that they shower once a week. Is that normal?
I shower almost every day, and I've toured successfully across the nation.
I would have 2 a day if I had my way, and I would sit in a hot tub. I just love water. But I'm terrified of
Heights.
Terrified of the ocean now.
Really?
Yeah. Do you get in the ocean?
I do. I'm going snorkeling soon. Down in the Keys with the sharks, with the fishes.
Well, I hope you get fucking eaten.
Oh, I'm terrified, but I do it. I face my fears every day.
I got to stop myself from clearing my throat in the microphone. I apologize to the 400,000 people that listen to me clear my throat for an hour last
So this
time.
is
I'm
it,
gonna try hard not to.
episode 1002, and we're still
1002.
figuring everything out. We're still working out the kinks. It's an ongoing, forever process.
Yeah, look at that. Yoga dog. Downward dog. Good boy. Downward dog. Downward dog. Good boy. Yeah, stretch it out. See? This is a Yoga-Ranian. A Yoga-Wawa-Ranian. It's a new type of yoga breed dog. We actually got him from a hippie girl. And she also did not shower but once a week.
Gross.
This dog, however, bathes incessantly. He's always bathing.
So you were going to start out with a word from our sponsors, is that right?
Yeah, this podcast is not brought to you by anybody, but we would like to read a word from our sponsor. What is today, the 22nd?
23rd.
23rd. All day today. All day it's the 23rd. Mm-hmm. 23rd, AA, thought for the day. Alcoholics are people whose drinking got them into a blind alley. They haven't been able to learn anything from their drinking experiences. That's you. They're always making the same mistakes and suffering the same consequences over and over again. Also you. They refuse to admit they're alcoholic. Also you. Wow, this is so true. They still think they can handle the stuff. They won't swallow their pride and admit that they're different from ordinary drinkers. They won't face the fact that they must spend the rest of their lives without liquor. They can't visualize life without ever taking a drink. Am I out of this blind alley? Man, maybe I'm an alcoholic.
I'm starting to feel like me too.
The damn throat clearing. What's wrong with me? Coffee? Cigarettes?
No more.
No more cigarettes?
No more
coffee?
no more throat clearing.
Jeez, that's a real problem.
Cigarettes are fine.
I think I need a CPAP machine. I can't breathe anymore. I just realized from years of driving a tractor trailer, I've turned myself into a 50-year-old fat man. And I'm not even fat or 50. What's up with that?
Well, being under the microphone will help you realize all these things about yourself. What's the next word of wisdom?
Before we get to that, because I really want to analyze this. Through this, they won't swallow their pride and admit that they're different from ordinary drinkers. I consider myself an ordinary drinker. I don't drink every day by any means. Sure would. Sure could.
You pretty much drink every day.
Only here in Nashville. When I was at home, I was working so much I didn't have time to drink.
But if you were off work, what were you doing?
I should get a job.
Nope, I disagree with that.
Just up the drinking, down the working?
Yes. See, I've been sober now, 2 weeks. I've had a harder time socializing with people at the bars, and I've had a harder time talking to the crowd. And had a panic attack meltdown at the Bluebird Cafe the other day, getting on stage for the open mic. Was dropping the guitar, couldn't get the strap on the thing.
Did you say strap on?
Yeah. I was shaking in my boots, and I'm looking at these people. I'm like, I don't even get nervous anymore. I don't know what the hell is going on, and I still don't. I think I told them, I said I quit drinking recently. I think that was helping me more than I knew, and I think I'm gonna get back into it really soon.
You need the booze.
I mean, it certainly helps with certain things.
So for you, it's either love or alcohol. It can't be both.
Can't be both, and I choose love.
I choose the love of alcohol. It's so deeply ingrained in our DNA, though. That's the thing. Ingrained alcohol into our DNA.
You as a Native American and me as an Irishman.
Well, just with our lineage of our grandparents.
All alcoholics.
Bad. Yeah. Whole families. Big line of damn sailor drunks. Well, whatever. Meditation for the day. I believe that God has all power. It is His to give and His to withhold, but He will not withhold it from the person who dwells near Him. That's nice, because then He passes it insensibly from God to that person. It is breathed, and that by the person who lives in God's presence, I will learn to live in God's presence, and then I will have those things which I desire of Him: strength, power, and joy. God's power is available to all those who need it and are willing to accept it. Who writes these things? Fucking Nostradamus?
Maybe. I think it's L. Ron Hubbard.
I hear that he's got a really nice take on religion. Mm-hmm. You go down to the barbershop down there in the corner. You say, hey, I need haircut number 13, 13B. I need the haircut for the cult. I need 4 rolls of quarters, because when the spaceship comes, I hear we're going to have to live off vending machines for a little while until we get to the planet. That was a real thing that happened. I wish I could think of the name of the cult. I'm sure we could Google it. But yeah,
remember, we don't Google until we get our Jamie.
Yeah, we got to find someone named Jamie. Anyone named Jamie. If you don't have any computer skills, doesn't matter. Got to be a guy, though. No girls up in this place.
If you can
Boys
work
club.
a phone, you'll be just fine.
You can find a phone. You can find a job. But yeah, so there was a cult in, I want to say California, probably Miami, because that's where all the crazy assholes in the world live. There in California, there was a cult of people that did a mass suicide all together. And they all had the same haircut, and they all had a couple rolls of quarters in their pocket because they had to live off vending machines in the spaceship. They thought that the spaceship was hiding behind the moon. I remember you were talking about, I thought you were talking about those people at one point in time. They were called like the moon something or another's.
I don't know, but I've been thinking about the moon. Okay. Every time you look at the moon, you always see the same side. And it's...
How do you know?
You can tell it always looks the same. And you can always see it every time the pictures. You can always see the man on the moon as long as it's illuminated. You can see it. If the damn thing is spinning, and I've Googled this, and they're like, well, it's because it's spinning at the same speed as blah blah blah. I don't buy it.
Oh boy.
Why is it always the same side of the moon? If it's spinning, surely you would see the other side. And they're like, well, no, because it's. I guess I'm just dumb. We found that out earlier today with the IQ test.
Are you going towards? Before the IQ test, which will be a really good indicator of the IQ test, the answer to this next question, are you leaning towards the flat earth argument these days?
Not at all.
That would support the moon theory.
My beautiful young lady, I think the moon was just kind of planted there by something. I think aliens probably just put it there.
Maybe there's a giant piece of string.
Don't you also think,
how
about during the eclipse when the moon perfectly blocks out the sun, it happens to just fit right there? That didn't happen on accident.
Remember when the last eclipse came around, you and I did that witchcraft shit?
We did.
We looked at the sun way too long because we were stupid and didn't order the correct glasses to view the eclipse. So what we did is we took 4 or 5 pairs of sunglasses and just stacked them on top of each other. I had a headache for 3 fucking days after that. I had to go drive a tractor trailer, and I was awake for 2 days, and I was miserable.
I still can't see out of my left eye. But we wrote our wishes and hopes and dreams on a piece of paper, and we burned them ritualistically as it was dark in the day because the sun was being blocked by this fake moon.
That was some Mayan calendar shit.
Yeah. Did you get your wishes? Did your dreams come true?
I think so. I think I seriously my thing was like to move to Nashville and to do music. I think I really did, actually. I think mine did come true.
I think I wanted $100. And I think I got it. I think I did. I think between then and now, I think I've probably made around that.
What's it been, 2 years?
About that, yeah. I think
probably close to it. Well,
I think it might have been 2018.
10 cents a day, 365 days a year, 2 years, you're up to damn near $800 anyway. Well, $730, I guess, would be 365 times 2.
You would think.
So 365 times 2 being 720, if I'm actually right about that. I don't think I am.
730.
730. Well, that's good. So back to the IQ test then, speaking of real geniuses. So there's a thing. What's the organization called?
Mensa.
Mensa. Minstrel. Minstra.
It sounds like a bunch of self-congratulating pricks to me.
Yeah.
I mean, who puts a timer on this kind of test?
Well, so this would be a prerequisite test to see if you even could take the test to qualify to take the test.
Yeah.
So Mensa, for those of you who don't know, is an organization of academia that's the most prestigious in the land as far as I've researched, and I've read about on it for about 5 minutes, so I'm a real expert right at this point. But yeah, so you can take this. My wife and I were talking the other night, and she always tries to tell me that I'm smart, and I always try to tell her that she's not smart. And I was like, well, let's figure out what's really going on here. And she had me take this test, and it's probably bullshit, guys. It's probably bullshit, but it was a time test of 20 minutes that consisted of a bunch of different really wild problems you wouldn't come across. You know, basically you had to, the one section I remember that was really crazy, they would basically show you different sets of hieroglyphics, if you will, that were, as they would progress, they would kind of rotate. Like one symbol would rotate clockwise, another would rotate counterclockwise. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. You had to decipher what the last symbol would be. And it was fucked up. It was. Do
you think the reason you were able to do it is because of all the Tomb Raider we played in our infancy?
Yeah, Lara Croft.
Yes.
I had a tattoo on my chest. My first tattoo was actually, I shared it with Angelina Jolie, who played Tomb Raider, the dragon. And I was actually going to take it so far because I will do anything in the name of comedy. I was going to get Billy Bob tattooed underneath of it, just like hers was. But thank God she got hers lasered off, so.
Now you don't have to do it.
I was right down to the day I was getting ready to get it done. And I was like, man, well, everyone will think I'm cute with Billy Bob tattooed on my chest.
Are you still going to get the tattoo of me on your ass?
It's already there. It's right there in the center.
That reminds me, remember when we did tattoo each other's asses when we were like 16?
I'd forgotten all about that until just now.
Me too.
What was it? Oh, I went the Kappa girl.
Yeah.
Like the soccer symbol.
Yeah.
It's just like the naked ladies.
And how did it end? It was just your bloodied, bruised, battered ass. So nothing's changed there.
You took a safety pen, right? We took an ink pen and busted it open because we all know, and ashes from a cigarette. I don't know why we had access to cigarettes when we were 10 or 9, whatever we were, but I'm sure
we were
did.
like 15.
Were we that dumb at that age?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick to 9.
We were in like 7th or 8th grade.
Maybe. Sounds about right. I actually got my first real tattoo at 15. But yeah, we took an ink pen and we took some ashes and we mixed it up because that's what they were supposed to have done Indian ink with back in the day. Safety pen, caught it on fire to sterilize it because we all know that lighters sterilize everything. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many holes I've pierced in my body with that method. It worked. I'm still kicking.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm counting 8.
Something like that. Yeah, I like how you pointed out the locations on my body. No piercings these days, guys, none. But yeah, so we did the tattoo, and I ended up with just a bloody, battered ass and a really scarred up Kappa girl, half Kappa girl.
I wonder if there's still any evidence of that on your ass.
I have to take a look sometime, big boy.
Take a look now.
Have to take a look. Give it a kiss there, Ricky.
Now we got a nicer camera.
Now you can zoom right in on it.
Finally, by the 1002nd episode, we have a nicer camera. We're up in the production value.
Yeah. I've got an ugly ass. I hold all of my sins in my backside. Despite the beauty you see here, I've got an ugly, ugly ass end.
Really?
Yeah. Jen, I was mooning my wife, as I typically do. I tend to do either a front moon with my student driver or a full-on spread cheek eclipse towards her. Anytime I can catch her off guard, I walk in Ace Ventura and just start singing to her with my asshole. And she's like, we got to do something about that wolf ass of yours. We got to trim that thing up. I was like, you're not trimming my ass. Pervert.
Who won the argument? Did you end up trimming it up?
Still got a nice looking hairy ass. Nope.
Nice.
Speaking of the pervert thing, I saw I used to really enjoy on my lunch breaks. I don't even know what job I had this kind of free time, but I would go into the Sheets in Winchester and I would like to pick up like actual perverts go in there and they open up the Playboy and Penthouse magazines. Definitely not me the day before in my free time. But I would go in there and I would open it up and be standing there looking, and I'd wait for someone to like walk by me and look over my shoulder and look at me, and I'd look at them and go, pervert.
I remember that.
I love making people feel uncomfortable.
I was a big fan.
So nice. So nice. So the Mensa test, to bring it back full circle, you took it. You had what I recall is 20 minutes on the test I took. You said they gave you 30 minutes, and it was 30 questions. How many did you get complete?
Only 17.
And you missed all of them.
I only missed, I think, 3 or so. But I just wasn't, my brain's not, since school, I haven't really done anything like that. It was really a different feeling in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to figure out puzzles and shit,
I must be a real fucking nerd because I actually, when I'm bored, I like to sit down and take aptitude tests. And I like to read dictionaries. If I'm reading a book, swear to God, my wife will attest to this. If I'm reading a book like at nighttime and there's a word in it that I don't know, because I like reading like old literature, like Don Quixote and things like that. The great literary works, they call them. But if there's a word in there I don't know, I will stop, put the book down, and fucking Google it so that I understand exactly what I've read.
I would do that if there was a word I didn't know.
But you know all the words.
All of them.
How about dichotomy?
That's kind of the situation we're currently in.
That would be...
It's kind of it's a perplexing situation where two things have to make sense at once and they don't quite jive together.
What is a plesiosaur?
That is one of the oldest identified reptilian dinosaur scaly creatures.
I like that.
Mesozoic period. 800 BC.
Well, you really do know everything, huh? How'd you fail that fucking test? I looked at it. It was like, here's a blue triangle. Here's a blue circle. Which one is the blue triangle? Yeah. How did you fail that?
Well, I was at the beginner's test. I just was running out of time. I mean,
You're freaking out?
Maybe I'll try it. I was freaking out. Maybe I'll try it again.
Timers fuck with me bad.
Yeah, and then you scared the shit out of me by talking about the timer.
I wanted to make it clear that you were under pressure. Because that's what kept screwing with me when I was taking it. I was like, oh shit, I wonder, it's been probably about 12 and a half minutes now. I gotta get my shit together.
So yesterday we played a writer's round.
Yeah.
We stay busy every day now.
Every day now. And I'm happy to say that I played 4 songs and I somehow found a way to forget chords to all 4 of them. And even though that I wrote them all. But in my defense, I have literally been doing songwriting circles and shows every day. Songwriting circles mainly. And in those, you don't play your own damn songs. So I guess instead of writing songs for other people, I need to spend some time practicing my own songs before I make an ass out of myself.
Again.
Again. We have a long show tonight we have to play.
Yes.
Not long for you, long for me. I'm used to playing 3 songs. You're used to playing 300. So I guess I'll play the 3 that I know. And you can play the other
297.
The other 297 that are required.
See, the math was always really easy for me.
Yeah. Meth.
So
More
what
than
else
meth
is new?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about Trailer Park Boys.
One of the all-time greats.
Yeah. So we brought it back last night. Apparently, I'm also dyslexic because I told you, I remember specifically telling you that I'd started it again and I was on season 1, episode 3. Come to find out, I was on season 3, episode 1. Did you catch that when they came on? I saw it and I was like, damn me, I got a real problem here. Yeah. Trailer Park Boys is one of the all-time greats. Are you, would you care to tell us about some of your time on the road? Do you have any interesting stories about tour life?
Not really. All I remember is I decided I had a perfect, happy life with a house that we were paying to own. It was a mortgage.
Those are the fucking worst.
And
mortgages.
I was running open mics and karaoke's. I was the karaoke king of Lynchburg, Virginia. I called myself.
And now you're the pervert king of Nashville.
I'm the pervert king of Nashville, which is a good title to have because this is a small town with lots of important people. And it's good to list your strengths right off the bat within your nickname.
Yeah.
But I decided to leave the house and the steady income and all these things. I was only working 9 hours a week too. It was pretty nice.
I got to think of a good nickname for myself. Should be I would like a cowboy name, like the Dyslexic Kid or something like that.
Dyslexic Dick.
Or like Shooter Jennings. For some reason I feel like that's taken.
Maybe. But yeah, so I moved into a bus. I turned a shuttle bus into a home. And me and the old dog, the old Shar-Pei, king of dogs.
That was a scary looking dog. I never did trust that motherfucker. I know he's the sweetest thing on earth.
It's
I
funny
never
because you're
did
the
trust
only
him.
person who was ever intimidated by him. He was the most sweet, kind, loving dog that ever lived.
Well, I'm the only person that actually can see through the soul of a dog because I was attacked by one as a child. And
You were attacked by a Cocker Spaniel.
I have an intimate relationship with animals now.
Obviously not, because that dog never so much as growled at a human being. He was perfect. But we traveled the country in that fucking bus. We had all kinds of adventures.
And
all
now-
kinds.
And now my mechanic Airbnbs it for you instead of fixing it and giving it back to you. It's been fixed for a year now. Mm-hmm. And he just Airbnbs it. He's making so much money off of it that he keeps telling Ben that it's not fixed. But I've known for a long time that it is fixed.
And last time I checked on it, there was a family of raccoons living in it. We talked about that. They destroyed the bus. Anyway, I was thinking, the girl I write all the songs about, who I'm finally with in a more happy, steady, very healthy. We talk every 40 seconds, right? Or how I like
Seems
it.
healthy.
Very obsessive, and that's the way I need it.
Reminds me of my very first relationship ever
That's what it reminds me of.
with my mother, who still calls me every 40 seconds.
It feels kind of like that. It's like the Oedipus. It's perfect amount of passion and all these things. Anyway, we hadn't talked in months, and I was out there drunk every day, and she like reached out to me, and I was like, oh my God, maybe she loves me too. And then she ended up calling me. Late one night I was driving, and we hadn't talked in months, and we're talking, and it's like, oh, it's nice to hear your voice. And I was so in love. I stopped paying attention to what I was doing. I ran out of gas. I was so happy I ran out of gas in the fucking diesel.
So you ran out of diesel?
Middle of the night. Well, diesel is a form of gas, isn't it?
Sure not.
Really? I ran out of diesel. I'm not a fucking mechanic. But I had
Which
to walk.
is the worst thing in the world you can do to a diesel engine fuel
It's
system, by the way.
something that size and that kind of weather and that kind of cold. Anyway, I walked miles and miles in the middle of the night, but I was still elated from talking to her. And I was like, oh, it's all going to be fine. This is funny, right? It's funny. I'm walking down the interstate at 2 a.m. by myself. I have to buy gas cans. I think I bought 2 of them. Heavy as hell. Sorry, diesel cans.
You fucking better say it right.
Make
from
the
now
whole
on.
walk back, fill it up, won't start. At this point, I'm starting to panic. I'm like, okay, I've got this whiskey. I've got this like edible marijuana left over from Denver or California. And
That's
I
the
just
good
said,
shit.
I'm sleeping here. So I gave up and I took the drugs and I think I smoked cigars and just had a fine time. Woke up to a cop knocking on the bus door. Super nice cop. I walked out immediately. I was like, hey, just so you know, like, don't let the long hair fool you. I'm not like anti-cop. I appreciate you. Really, I really did say that. I was like, I'm not like one of those guys.
I
who,
wonder
like,
how nice
hates-
he would have been if you had a boatload of drugs in there.
I didn't have a boatload. I don't even hardly smoke weed. It's more of an alcohol obsession.
You had
for
100
me.
pounds of pot.
Well, no one will ever. Who knows? That's to be determined.
TBT.
So he's
TBD.
like, hey, he's like, state law, you got to get this piece of shit out of here, like right now. He was nice about it, but he's like right now.
But you did call it a piece of shit. To your face.
I did one more attempt to get it started. I had this whole battery bank from the solar panels. I tried everything to get that thing turned over. Nothing worked. My running out of gas ended up costing my sweet mother $900 of what would have become my inheritance. Cost $900 to get that thing towed like a mile in these friendly Illinois mechanics to get it up and running again.
That's because when you run a diesel out of fuel, it's entirely different than running a gas out of fuel, and you have to go through a bunch of bullshit to get the fuel system.
So don't learn it the
primed
hard
back up.
way. If you're out there living in a diesel bus, don't run out of gas.
Well, and if you're going to buy a diesel, don't be a fucking idiot. If you're an idiot, buy gas.
Yeah. Well, that's why now I'm driving a Jetta.
Diesel.
And I
Use a
still
Jetta.
sleep in the car. Don't get me wrong. I'll do long trips. I'll just pull over in a Planet Fitness parking lot, Walmart parking lot. I'll just sleep right in that car.
You sleep standing up? Or like
I
sitting
sleep
up?
curled up in the back.
Really?
Yeah, I love
have
it.
to stretch my feet out. I've been wanting a fucking king-size bed for, I don't know, about 32 years now. We finally got one, and my feet still hang off the bottom of that son of a bitch because I like to sleep with my hands straight up in the air, like they're playing my song, and my feet down. So I need like maybe a California king. I think I hear they're a half foot longer. That'd be just about. I need like a good 7.5, 8 foot span.
I'd almost just put 2 beds up against each other.
Well, that's
Save some money.
essentially
Put a twin down at the bottom.
again. So it'd be 3 twins. A king bed is 2 twins side by side or 2 fulls side by side because your box spring is 2.
Is that because you and your wife want to be as far apart as possible?
I'm trying to get her the fuck out of my life. No. No, man, it's like we used to let the dogs sleep with us sometimes. And, Pooh Bear over there is about 85 pounds. So he takes up, a 10-year-old child's worth of room.
Mm-hmm.
And I get hot, man. They put off heat. I can't stand like someone putting off heat next to me in the middle of the night. I am miserable. I've got to sleep in a room that's like 60 degrees with a fan on, and I will still sweat my ass to death every night. I sweat the bed, as they say.
I've slept alone so many times now and on so many couches and in so many odd places touring with Marvin.
That you'll sleep with anybody.
That now,
just for company.
when I get the opportunity to sleep with, really it's only one person, and it's heaven.
Any guy you can come across.
Yeah, I like to smell her hair and just kind of just dig in and just, it's like a moment of peace, like a moment of silence.
Sounds like a fucking serial killer.
I feel like one.
Yeah, you look like one. Nice jacket.
Thank you. I'm wearing blazers. Also, another pro tip. If you're in Nashville and you're doing any kind of songwriting or really if you're doing anything, just wear a blazer so people will take you seriously. I'll go out in this blazer. People will be like, hey, excuse me, sir, what's your Instagram information?
And if they don't take you seriously, they will fully believe that you at least take yourself seriously.
I say, this guy tries. He put a blazer on over top of an otherwise normal outfit.
Yeah. But you got the good, like the chukka boots now. You got the socks. Your pants are up above your ankles, like most, what do you call those guys? Cucks?
Cuck Finn. Maybe Cuck Finn could be your Nashville.
I'm such not a cuck guy, though. But, man, Cuck Finn's a fun one. Maybe I should be the pervert king and you be Cuck Finn.
I like that.
So I'll tell you a story about my tour life.
All right.
It was the first tour I was ever on. I was 12 years old with my friend Dustin Pence. Sorry, Dustin, didn't mean to say your last name on air. He's not a drug dealer, by the way, if you're listening. If you're a police officer and you're listening, he's not a drug dealer.
Out
Just
of
looks
Edinburgh.
like one. Yeah. But so we used to go to Myrtle Beach with his family every year. And we had just started playing guitar when we were like 11. And it might have even been that year, like when we were 11 or when we were 12. Somehow, Dustin talked me into getting up, or maybe I talked him into it. I thought it was a good idea to get up on stage in front of about, 30 afternoon day drinking beachgoers. And we played. And we were actually playing songs that we were writing at that time. We always have just written our own shit. All of us have. I always thought it was such a normal thing to be a songwriter because we've just been surrounded by them. But apparently it's not that normal. But so, yeah, we played in front of these 30 people. And it actually went really well, and they clapped. But, man, it gave me such a negative connotation. I think I expected them to all jump up and do backflips and, like, fireworks to go off and everyone to ask me for my autograph. Mm-hmm. I was unsure of how the music business actually worked at that point. Yeah, and I think it fucked me up bad for a long time. I had a real performance anxiety. And I didn't even know. I just knew I had something holding me back. I did not feel comfortable in front of people. And I don't mind talking to anybody. Never have. I'm a talking son of a bitch. But I had that happen. And one of my friends, I think, had gone and gotten hypnotized to quit smoking. And had told me what a crazy thing it was, how he was like overnight transformed. And I found this place in Northern Virginia. I think it was Nova Hypnotist Specialist. And I went up there. I'm telling you, I sat with this dude for probably an hour and a half, and he had me like physically visualize the memory. It was really odd. And then he had me take the physical visualization, and he'd be like, "What does this feeling remind you of?" I'd be like, "A ball. What color? Blue. What sound do you hear? Like waves." And he's like, "Change those things all." And I said it out loud. I guess I was kind of in a trance. But this is the bullshit about the trance thing. I think there are people that really probably can take you all the way under. I had the mental fortitude to fight him, but I wanted it to help me so bad that I just like told myself, I was like, Bo, just fucking let go and just let it help you. Like, have the healing that you need. I was convinced that this was going to heal me. And I did this shit, man. And I swear he did this to me. I don't know what he was just telling me to take that emotion because it was out here. We were talking about it as if it was in a physical space. And he's like, put that emotion back inside yourself. I broke down. I fucking sobbed and sobbed and sobbed in front of this damn dude. Crazy. Walked
Were you just
out.
looking for an excuse to cry in front of someone again?
I think I just needed a good cry. I'd had it pent up in me about 30 years yourself. I broke down. I fucking sobbed and sobbed and sobbed in front of this damn dude. Crazy. walked
Were you just
out.
looking for an excuse to cry in front of someone again?
I think I just needed a good cry. I'd had it pent up in me about 30 years of just being a hard ass, and
And you couldn't just watch The Green Mile like the rest of us?
I refuse to put myself through movies that make you cry. Fuck all of them. But yeah, man, I walked outside and I have been since very transformed. Ever since then, best $250 I ever spent in my life. If you have any sort of issue, because matter of fact, you might not even know that you have an issue, but if you have something holding you back from chasing down some sort of goal or dream and you can't figure out what it is, like you just don't have the courage
Did you
to
hear
go do it.
That sounds like the camera did something. Continue.
Really?
Let me see what's happening here.
Yeah. Sounds like it took your picture. I think I said courage, and that's the key word for it to start taking pictures.
I think it stopped.
Oh, perfect. Good. But yeah, so I had, hell, we'll cut that back in. But yeah, so if you're ever having an issue with something, with courage, with gaining and reading self-help and finding mentors and meditating and all those things aren't working for you, hypnosis is a good solution. Well, and really all those things together. Do you ever meditate?
Hell no.
I know you
what
just.
that means.
I know you heard masturbate, not meditate.
Isn't that what everybody
that's
heard?
a solid yes. But meditate. Yeah, man. There was an app one time. Have you ever heard of a? Did I ever tell you about that bullshit that I was doing? Oh my god, I'm gonna forget the name of it now. But basically, it was like a daily, almost stretching / yoga routine, and they would have you hold these poses. Like you would do just a front leaning stretch, and you don't really actually stretch. You just kind of relax into it. It's called Ramwad. That's what it is. There you go. Shout out Ramwad. But you kind of fold into these things, and it'll have you hold a stretch for like 4 minutes, which your ass is never going to hold anything for 4 minutes, you know? And it runs you through a different thing 7 days a week. I swear to God, when I was doing that 5 days a week, it gave me my life back as far as like my perception of time. Like, do you ever feel like a day goes by really fast? Some days go by really slow. Like, that's your perceived timeline. And when I was doing that every day, my work week would blow by and my weekends would just drag and drag and drag. And it felt like I had an unlimited amount of life. It was so cool. I don't even know why I quit doing it. In fact, I'm going to start doing it again because I fucking felt amazing doing that stuff.
Sounds like you're stuck in some kind of fucked up trip to me.
Nah, maybe. We all are. It's a simulation, man. It's a flat earth.
How's this work?
Oh, yeah, just a hair flat works fine. There you go. But,
How about that G?
the G string. Mine's probably out, too. Mine's probably out. I like to take my guitar and smash it on stage at the end of the night. Makes me feel good. You gonna play me a song?
Sure, I'm gonna play a song.
Let's do a verse chorus.
Ooh. How do you do this?
Well, you should have learned this a long time ago.
All right, I'm gonna do the first. Is that in tune?
Yeah, fucking in tune enough.
I'm recording the video for this song tomorrow.
I'm excited to hear how badly it goes.
If this is any indication.
Well, just don't take that guitar with you.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? The world can beat me to my knees, but I only lay down for you. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You're only close enough while you're touching me, and I miss you before you leave. So when you're gone, don't stay gone too long. You put the sunlight in my heaven, babe. The words right in my song. Maybe just stay. Maybe just stay. We tried it every other way.
That's beautiful.
Thanks. So I feel like those lyrics really kind of paint you a picture of the kind of love I'm into and the kind of love that I've found.
Sounds
I
the
like
type
that
of-
obsession shit.
Sounds like the type of love that only one man can give to another man.
You would think.
Yeah, it really does. That's what it reminds me of a lot. I'm gonna play a song that I don't know how to play.
I'd like that.
Probably got to get a microphone for the guitar one day, because you probably can't even hear the damn thing, huh?
No, you can.
Scores. Turn it up and take a listen to the things and times that make life worth living. But it ain't always wine and redneck ways. But seeing your smile a lot less these days. I got a heart full of hurt and a head full of questions. Not knowing what's worse to know or keep guessing. So I'll sit alone, let the radio play. Babe, I can already say, honey, draw me a hard line. Give me them bad times. Give me the news that knocks me off my feet. I'll be your best friend, write you a love song. Or I can be your worst damn enemy. I'll be your moonshine, I'll be your summer nights. The crickets singing love songs for you and me. We got this thing going on, I hope we can keep it strong. Baby, tell me how it is you want it to be. How you want it to be.
Singer-songwriter solo.
Singer-songwriter solo. I should have given you one.
You know it's a singer-songwriter solo when the guitar is completely out of tune from the other guitar and you go for it anyway.
My buddy Ryan, I'm gonna record that song and put it out one of these days for all of you friends that are at home that remember when I had this song up on YouTube and you're pulling your fucking hair out because I pulled it off when I started putting out real songs. Sorry guys, I'll do a good version.
You want to do an
day.
acoustic version of it next week and have a? We're gonna do nice acoustic productions. I just bought another camera, so we are getting serious about this. Making a lot of content and helping other people locally make content. We're gonna get really good at it.
I hope we do.
We got the mics, we got the wherewithal, we got the want, we got the how-to.
John Wherewithal?
Yeah, now we just need the people. And I think in Music City, it's going to be pretty easy to find folks who want to record and get some quality content.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's yeah, man, I think that's important. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the hero's journey today.
Okay.
Because that's what that kind of reminds me of. And I'm going to actually look it up so I don't fuck it up. But as far as like, you know, us coming out here and doing this thing, as far as facing your fears as a young man to want to become better. But the hero's journey is one of the oldest stories ever told in mythology. And this is how, in the final phrase, you have to conquer the dragon. And I feel like doing this video production and stuff like that, that's another metaphor or form of conquering the dragon. So I wish I could find an actual, how about a summary? 17 stages of the monomyth. Well, I only know about 5 of them. But I do know.
I thought it was leave home, find a princess, have your heart broken, run back home, then go to the castle, fight Bowser, get the princess.
Well, that's the hero Mario's journey. Let's see. I'm gonna bastardize this too. So the first part, Act 1, is departure. So the call to adventure. That's what all of us as young men. You experienced the call to adventure at a very young age. I did too, and that is basically just wanting to do something, knowing that there is something in you that is great, that can be accomplished, but it can't be done at home. You have to go out and seek it. You know what I mean? So the second phase is refusal of the call. That's what I did for many years longer than you did. You actually moved away from home when we were very young, right out of high school. I did, and then I refused the call and I went back home. I got scared.
But I've still had some refusal periods though, like where I've worked like really shitty, more serious jobs that take up all your time and kind of get comfortable with that nonsense, but it never sticks.
No. I like that shit though. Well, I don't like it, but I've done a lot of it. But yeah, how funny is that? Supernatural aid. So we could just imagine that you have sex with a ghost and it gives you AIDS.
Yes.
So once you have your supernatural aids, you cross the threshold into the belly of the whale. So those are the parts that I am not familiar with.
That's Bible stuff.
Yeah. But what I do know is then, so after the first act, the second act. So basically, you know, you have the call to action, refusal, and then you actually go. You accept the call to action. And what you're supposed to do at that point is you're supposed to meet a mentor on your road, you know, and the mentor is going to guide you. I guess we'll obviously do what mentors do. They're going to grow you and help you. So you've met mentors, the Rabines.
The Marvin
Marvin
boys. Marvin is obviously my greatest mentor yet. They are the ones I was about to give up on music. So I've always said that. You can't actually stop. But I was at a place where I was really done with it. And then my heroes called me on the phone and were like, we love you. Will you want to come to Chicago and work on music with us? And everything was changed from then on. It gave me just enough confidence to crawl out of that shithole that I was in.
That's crazy.
And then we traveled the fucking country together a shit ton. And I bet we're not done. I bet we're going to do some more. They're on tour right now without me. And I'll bet they're missing just a little bit of what I bring to the table.
They probably at least miss the smell of your ass mix in the van.
That's what I'm thinking. And I would drag them to the gym every day. I know now their bodies are falling apart.
Yeah.
Like feeble young women.
I wish I had time to go to the gym today. Actually, I do, you know. I keep forgetting that I have my driver's license. Jenna's been driving me around so much that I forget that I actually am able to drive myself. So I can just go with you. We could go to Goodlettsville, Purple Planet.
I'm into that.
Get a fucking pump on.
I'm doing legs today, unfortunately, which I'm not a big leg guy, but I've been told that my ass and things are not as good as they once were. And
I can see. You have tiny legs.
That's not true.
You've been skipping squat day, bro.
When I pull these pants off, no, because I do everything for
Fucking
hypertrophy,
take 'em off.
not for strength, okay? I'm not wearing underwear.
Fucking take them off. Show everybody.
I ain't wearing underpants.
Show everybody that little spaghetti noodle you got. Hey, well, so anyway, the last two phases of the hero's journey. So you meet your mentor, and then you face the dragon. So I still am yet to meet my mentor. I've met, podcasts. I've had many mentors through listening to podcasts. You know, they're just inspirational figures that educate you and motivate you along the way. So that's in that regard. But a physical mentor, that's coming. That's coming. And then you face the dragon, you fight the dragon, your Bowser, your biggest challenge yet. And whatever that is, you know, to be determined, right? Whatever that giant crevasse is that you have to leap across in faith, knowing that you have the tools to face it. And then once you fight the dragon and you win.
What if you lose? You get to try again?
You start over. Yeah, the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a never-ending cycle. See, there are many different phases of the hero's journey in your life. You can do it. I've done it with little businesses and things and growing things and completed the hero's journey. But, you know, then once you face a small journey, you're able to mentally handle larger journeys and greater expeditions. This is the greatest one yet for me, anyway. But once you face the dragon, you conquer the dragon. They always say that the greatest accomplishment in life is service to others, or the highest calling in life is service to others. So once you beat the dragon and you have the knowledge, you have the golden egg, the golden goose, you take that back to the village, you take that back home, and you share your wealth, your knowledge, your heroism with your friends and family.
Like the Tim McGraw song, when you get where you're going, turn around, help the next one in line, always stay humble and kind.
Yeah, he's talking about the hero's journey, whether he realizes it or not. But so that's the greatest thing. If and when you get to that level, and whatever that level may be for you, you know what I mean? Your level may only be to, I don't know, be a coal miner or whatever, but you're a damn good coal miner. And you take that knowledge, you raise your children up, you know, you take care of your wife, you're a good individual. You take that back to them so that they can benefit from it, and you're an inspiration to your friends and family. That's killer. And then you get an alcohol problem, and you get coal lung, and you die. And that is the hero's journey in its entirety.
And then you start over.
Yeah, and you start over with another one. You wake up out of the simulation. What do you think happens when you die? Probably a couple different possibilities, right?
Well, it's like you said, we both have had dreams, very vivid dreams we'll never forget, where we got to meet someone who we perceived as God. Mine was John Lennon at the time, and we were on top of a mountain, and I was asking him all these questions as the sun was rising behind him. Epic mountain range. Looked like, I don't know, the Blue Ridge or something. But I was asking him all the questions, all the secrets, and he was answering them for me, and I was like, that makes perfect sense. That resonates. And then I remember saying, what happens when you die? And he told me, and I remember saying to him, I'm not going to be able to remember this, am I? And he said, no. And then, I guess I woke up and I was like, damn. But I know that it made perfect sense and I was okay with it. I also know that through all the heavy, heavy trips, I don't know. I wish that I thought it was like we all go to this heaven place. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's just that simple. I think it's far more complex.
I think it's whatever you need it to be.
I think it's all good.
Yeah, for sure. Because they talk about the like the level of DMT that's in your third eye there. They say that when you die, that's that point. They say the 0.006 grams or whatever they can't account for.
21 grams.
That's the soul leaving your body. It's probably like the last little bit of air you have in your lungs and the shit you shit out. But I don't know, man, because I had the same thing happen to me. I was a kid, very lost, dark kid that needed some hugs, and I had a loving family growing up. For some reason, I was just a dark son of a bitch. But I had a dream, and a paper airplane was coming down out of the sky, and I reached up to grab a hold of it, and it turned into a balloon, and it wrapped around my wrist, and it yanked me up out of the sky.
This is James and the Giant Peach.
Swear to God, no. I've never even seen James and the Giant Peach.
I played it for you literally last night.
He's a damn liar. He's a damn liar. No, but I got up there, and I stood there, and it was a man, probably, mid-30s guy. I was much younger, so I'd imagine he was probably like my age, maybe a couple years older. Had a son and a daughter, they're little kids, standing next to him. And he said, Bo, he's like, he said, I know you don't believe in me, but I believe in you. I'm God. And he's like, for the next 24 hours, you can stay with me and my family. You can ask me any question you want, and I'll answer them truthfully. And I remember vividly, man. I have these long Inception style dreams where I'm in them for a year, 2 years, or whatever, which I'll circle back to. But I was in this dream with God for 24 hours. And we hung out, and it was weird how the universe was laid out. It was like you could just kind of teleport anywhere you wanted to, and it was like if you wanted to go to a Planet Cheeseburger, where there was just like the best burgers on earth and just nice, kind families, like you could just kind of appear there. You could kind of just coast the cosmos. It was really, really bizarre, man. But it was so much bigger than what you can perceive as large. You know what I mean? Just like how we can't see things that are microscopic unless under the lens of a microscope. The complexity and the hugeness of the universe was just unfathomable. But I remember I woke up in the morning. I didn't remember any of the questions. I didn't remember any of the answers. But man, I was like almost hoping I would die for like 6 months after that because it was so beautiful. But obviously I didn't die. I'm still here, thank God.
The thing is, though, with death or anything, everything changes. So it's like, it's not like you're going to die and then you get to go to some constant, consistent thing. It's just going to keep going in cycles. Because that's the other thing with like the hard trip. It's like you get to this place where there's no point anymore. And that's kind of what heaven would be like. To be there for a while would be great. For infinity, everything has to change for it to be interesting. So whatever it's going to be, it's going to keep changing.
It's like Carcosa. I know what happens next. I saw you in my dream. Remember that shit? True Detective.
Oh, yeah.
That was freaky.
Oh, that writer definitely kind of has an insight to what's happening underneath this shit.
Had some DMT trips for sure. But yeah, so I actually, from the dreams that I have always had, I have these maybe it's just from doing acid when I was a kid, my brain's broken, but I have these wacky ass dreams where I will literally live in them for 6 months, a year, 2 years. I'll have entirely different family, entirely different friends. I'll be like married, have kids, raising kids, different career. I'll be a different person. And I'll like just be driving down the road one day and I'll die in a car crash. But that is my reality at that point. I don't know anything else. I can't. And a lot of times I can tell I'm dreaming because I can lucid dream and walk around and do all kinds of crazy shit. I've gotten in trouble doing that before with myself, but I've abused the dream powers. But you'll flip a car and you'll die and you'll wake up and then all of a sudden you're back into this reality and you're like, man, I was, oh, okay, that's right. This is my life. These are my people. I was fully convinced 10 seconds ago that these were my people over here and this was my life. And I kind of think that's what happens when you die.
It's very possible.
I think you just wake up and you're like, man, that was a trip.
That's why the last time
one.
I was having a bad trip recently, I was like pacing around the house naked, checking the clock over and over again, and the time wasn't really changing, not close to fast enough. And I was thinking, I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, should I go outside in the cold naked and like walk around since nothing matters? Like, should I drive to Walmart and like walk in there naked and just like eat whatever I want? I really was at that place where I was thinking these things, but something stopped me. Had I done those things, do you think I'd be in prison now, or do you think I was in an alternate reality? And
I think you would be a registered sex offender now, for sure.
it's weird though, man. It's so much trippier than we think in our waking consciousness. What's really going on is so much deeper.
Oh, yeah.
Unless, like you said, unless my brain's just broken from the drugs. I was driving yesterday, listening to some song, driving some Lyft passenger from Franklin to Nashville, and all of a sudden I felt like I was in California driving through the hills, and it was tripping me out so bad that I was like, am I dreaming right now? I was like, is the next sign going to advertise Los Angeles? Are these because I don't even remember there being hills around there, but there are. It kind of looks like little mountains. I don't really remember seeing that in Nashville, and I was thinking, I guess I'm losing my mind. But what are you going to do about it?
Jenna said that last night. We were driving out of here, going down to Belcourt to play, and she's like, man, I just freaked out. I just like thought that I was driving down roads in Edinburgh for a second, and then I remembered I was in Nashville.
It's weird, man.
It is.
Because who's to even really say?
Well,
it's almost like whatever we decide it is.
The clock is your jailer. That's really your only master. If you didn't have to live by a calendar and a clock, you'd have to appoint a reference. You know what I mean?
But what about gas money?
Fuck gas money. It sucks.
I have to use gas money to get from point A to point B. I don't like that.
I need to get a vehicle that gets about 1,000 miles a gallon, so I need to get a Tesla.
I'm packing 40.
I like that.
It's
I'm
nice.
getting about 17, which is really nice. I got a big, sexy diesel. Diesel, as my wife would say. Big diesel truck to drive around. But, you know, price you pay. Got a small pecker and you want to look cool, you got to drive a diesel, fool.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Country
music thing.
If you want to constantly be mistaken for a beautiful woman, just drive a Jetta.
Yeah. It works for you and grow your hair out.
Let your hair down, man. The cops don't mess with you. They'll wink. They'll honk.
They're like, God, that's got to be some sort of fresh out of high school babe right
They
there.
don't actually pull you over.
Jenna got pulled over the other day and got a speeding ticket.
Yeah. She was crying by the time he got to her.
He told her to turn off the waterworks, sister. That shit ain't working here. And she's like, I was already crying before you pulled me over. I was having a shit day. He's like, well, literally had a perfect driving record too. And she's like, I have a perfect driving record. And he's like, well, guess what? You don't anymore.
She was going 12 over down a hill on a road with no speed limit
No posted
signs.
speed signs. She could probably go to court and fight it.
Well, she
honestly.
needs to. That's a hell of a cop right there. What a fucking idiot.
Well, and it might be one of those situations too where you go in there. I've heard of this happening many times, and the judge is like, God damn it, Scott, you waste my time with another one of these cases, I'll have your badge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like one of those dudes that just has to have
That
it.
happened to me. I was in Myrtle Beach, minding my own fucking business. My sister, my ex-girlfriend, one of her friends. I threw a cigarette out the window.
Well, that's why you deserve to go to jail. Live
Yeah,
up.
a cigarette. So the cop pulls me
Murderer.
over, and the cop said I was trying to throw a cigarette at him.
Really?
I was stone sober, yeah.
You should have told him
I
you're trying
said,
to throw
sir,
up a
do you
turtle's
really
nose.
think I would throw a cigarette at a cop? Like, I'm not a lunatic.
Yeah.
What?
Do I look like I'm
And
16?
he was furious, and he's just like, no. He's like, I know what you did. You tried to throw a cigarette at me. And I was like, okay, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard. I'm like, this guy must be kidding or something. Then he tries to ask my girlfriend at the time to get out of the car so he can like interrogate her about this. Yeah. He was a fucking weird motherfucker. I hated his vibe. And he comes back to the car with a ticket for me, $500.
Littering.
Which
You
I looked
deserve
up. It's
every
the
penny of
maximum.
it.
That's the maximum fine for littering, up to like 10 pounds of trash in the state. So I was like, "Fuck this guy. This is I can't even believe that this happened." I drove back down. I planned for the court date. Made a beach trip out of it. Got all kinds of sunburn. Went into the courthouse, and they're like, "Oh, De Laurentiis, your case is thrown out." I said, "Why is that?" And they were like, "He's no longer with the department." I said, "Yeah, it makes sense." I was like, "The guy was out of his mind."
Yeah.
And then she goes, you shouldn't be talking like that. You're lucky to blah, blah, blah. I said, ma'am, I looked it up. Like, the guy was out of his mind. He gave me the maximum fine. I said, I flicked a cigarette out. Like, get fucking real, you know?
You real with me, ho. Magistrate, ma'am.
But I mean, and the cool thing about that, all is well that ends well kind of shit. On the way back from Myrtle Beach, from that getting that awful ticket, that I was like $500. That's like 2 months' salary for me, you know. And I told him that. So I'm driving. I miss a turn. Pull over at a rest stop. I see a Hare Krishna guy with the garb, shaved head. He had the best vibe. Wanted to talk to me about the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, that's Hare Krishna, right? George Harrison's thing. And he gives me this book for free. Beautiful book, expensive, like nice bound book, and gave it to me. Just gave me all kinds of awesome, uplifting, deep shit. I listened to Hare Krishna. I listened to the Bhagavad Gita on tape the whole ride back. But I took the ticket and I put it in the book, and I left it in there the next month or so before the court case, just thinking like, I'm gonna leave this up to the higher powers.
Nice.
And then of course the officer was fired. Hopefully he's having a hard time with whatever he's doing.
Well, in the other half of that story, what you probably don't know is that when you had told me about that, I looked up the guy's name, and I went down there and I planted drugs in his house, and I made an anonymous tip.
I do appreciate that.
You'll have that. You know, you do what you got to do for family.
That's family.
Do what you got to do for family. Hey, speaking of cops pulling females out of cars and harassing them, have you, and by the way, a lot of my friends are police officers. I'm not just talking trash on police, because I have tons and tons of friends that I like highly respect and love that are police officers. So we're just talking about the bad ones, guys, not you good guys.
You know who you are.
You know who you are, bad guys.
Motherfuckers.
But there was there was a movie back in the day that came out that was like, this guy had pulled a female out of a car and like held the husband or the boyfriend at gunpoint and like made him watch him like sexually assault the woman, basically rape her over the hood of the car.
It sounds like you're doing James and the Giant Peach again. Did this really happen?
Well, that would be a hell of a parody porno name for a rape. James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah.
Officer James and the Giant Peach. And the girl just happened to be obese.
Yeah. So wait, this really happened?
It was a movie I watched. I mean, I'm sure that they didn't actually do it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Crash.
Yes. Yeah, where all the people's
heavy-duty
lives. Movie. Yeah, very heavy-duty movie. I'm so glad you thought of that. Well, maybe you do have a better brain than I do.
I told you
maybe
I did.
Maybe you're not as damn dumb as you look.
I told you I did.
Good Lord.
Have we done an hour?
Probably 2 or 3. Let's call it. Let's call it a day. We both have music to play tonight.
And we're going to the gym, right?
We're going to the fucking
Let
gym.
that be the motivation to those of you who are considering going to the gym. Just go.
Just go.
You're going to feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
We are kissing cousins. Should we try it in D? We are kissing cousins.
Whatever.
Cool. We'll figure it out.
Put the D in. It puts the D in, it's gone.